Dr. Larry here. I hope you're doing well today. So on my walk today, I got this huge download about forgiveness. And I was like, wow. I mean, there's like so much information, but I said, you got to put it in like 5 minutes. So part of the thing about forgiveness, why it's so hard for us to forgive, is because we are afraid. We are afraid of people treating us badly again. Okay. And another reason why it's hard to forgive, because we feel like we need to be validated. It's like, well, this person did this to me. I need to be heard, right? So when we hold on to these constructs of I need to be heard, or this fear of I don't want to get hurt again, it keeps us in this state of holding on to this resentment and this anger. And when we hold on to this resentment and anger, we are the ones that suffer. It's not the other person. We think that we're punishing the other person, but oftentimes when people hurt us, they really don't care. And so when we are feeling self-righteous, well, I'm withholding my love to make them miserable. Actually, what's happening is you are holding on to that energy in your body, which is making you miserable. And, you know, there's this old quote, I mean, I've heard it for so many years, that holding on to resentments is like taking poison and expecting the other person to be hurt. But when you're holding on to that, you are the one that suffers. So I want to help you kind of work through this a little bit. So part of the reason why we feel that we want to be validated, okay, is because we've been hurt. And underneath that anger is hurt. And it's easier to be angry at somebody than to feel how they hurt you. Okay, so if you can get in touch with the pain and the hurt of what happened, then you can move through that towards your forgiveness a little bit easier. Because when we come from this place of anger, it just keeps us in that space. And we don't want to be hurt again. So that's why we don't forgive people, because we think, well, if I forgive this person, they're going to do this to me again, and I don't want to get hurt again. So that's where boundaries come in, okay? Just because you forgive somebody doesn't mean that you have to allow them back into your life so they can hurt you again. And hear this includes family, okay? Just because they're family or a spouse or children, it does not give them the right to treat you with disrespect, okay? I really want you to hear that. Years ago, it's no secret, I had a tumultuous relationship with my father. And he would call up and he would berate me and he would say horrible things to me. And the person that was my mentor at the time, she asked me, she goes, well, why are you letting him do that to you? Would you let anyone else, any other man do that to you? I said, well, heck no. She goes, well, why are you letting your father do that to you? I said, well, because he's my dad. And she was like, you don't have to allow him to do that just because he's your dad. So once I worked through this, and let me tell you, I worked through it, I developed different boundaries with him and basically told him, you're not allowed to talk to me that way. You can't hurt me that way anymore. And it was a long time before we repaired our relationship, but before he passed away, we had a really good relationship. And the reason why was because I forgave him and I also kept my boundaries so he was not able to hurt me in that same way anymore. And when he overstepped a boundary or when he said something that was hurtful, we had an open communication. So I was able to talk to him, you hurt me, okay? So this is emotional maturity. All right. And the reason why we want to let go of this anger and resentment is because when we hold on to it, A, we get sick, and B, we shut down all the sources of abundance and prosperity and love and adventure because we're spending so much time trying to manage this anger. Okay, so I just want to let you know that if you're angry at somebody, and also, okay, if you said, oh, well, I've forgiven that person, but I don't forget. Okay. If somebody in your life that you think that you have forgiven and they call you up and you have an emotional response to that, like irritation, I got news for you. You have not forgiven that person completely. You may have on some level with some things that they have done, but it's not out of there completely. So if you have an emotional response to somebody that is anger, you have not forgiven them completely, and there's still more work to do. And remember, it comes in layers, so be patient with yourself. So that's what I have for today. Gosh, I have like classes on this. But anyway, I hope that helps. And the only thing that you have to do is just set the intention. I'm ready to forgive. You don't have to do it, but just set the intention or the willingness to forgive. And then things will come into your life that will help you do it. But it begins with a willingness first. So I hope that helps. I know that was a touchy subject. It is for me. It's a constant thing for me. So I hope you enjoy it. Have a beautiful, beautiful day.